Alright, so welcome to another episode of the weekly recap on EURUSD in particular. So this weekend I was a bit ill and I wasn't able to do it this weekend, so nonetheless we'll do it now. Let's dive right into it. Now this is for our time frame on EURUSD. I'm sure we already understand how I trade, and in essence to how I'm trading it's just following these three basic things. I think I've repeated them most several times in almost all my videos. Number one is always our narrative. Number two is our ranges. And then number three is our what? Demand or supply, depending on which case. The first we have is our narrative, the second ranges, the third is what? Demand or supply. And these are the three things we usually work with. Now, what is the narrative? The narrative is basically when you're looking at price, there's always a way of getting narrative. And to get your narrative, let me use this section to get a narrative. Imagine that, let's say, for an instance, this is what is happening right now in the market. So, in when you see this sort of thing, depending on the time frame you're using, but let's say this is the 4 hour time frame. To get the narrative from here, what are you doing? The first thing you mark out is what the breakout structure that occurred here, right? So, which is telling us that this is a valid external range. So, the first range we had was where the first range will be from this low to this high. Now that this high has been taken out, where's our next range? Our next range is not this. Our next range is here because this is where the recent break of structure happened. So this is our what? Our protected low, and this is our protected high. Anything that makes price break below here, we're seeing a different narrative. So what is happening here is that we're going to wait until price gives us a bullish intent, and then we're going to the smaller time frame to look for what? For demands to continue and taking it to the external range again. So basically, I've explained the narrative, the ranges, and demand and supply, right? So going down into the video, we can see where everything is coming in, right? Now, after price tapped into this range high, I'm not going to waste too much time here. This is going to be a very short video. After price tapped into this range high, what next the price do? Price created what a newer range like this, which in short is telling us that what it's telling us that we have this as our range low and this as our range high. So anything that's making price top into either of them, the range is no longer what valid. The range is what no longer valid. So following on, price we waited for the bullish intent here, and it wasn't given there. You can see that price took out the high here, right? So after price taking out the high, it gave us what the candle closed inside, which told us that well, we have like a very new range here, which was what this low, right? So in this one, we're not really doing the recap of the trades. I'm just showing you the narratives and the ranges. The demand and supply, we've done it in every other recap, so you can just look in the previous ones and get the demand and supply. I'm just using this to tell you the narrative and the ranges that keeps on occurring. So after this, where did price create a new range? Price did something like this here. I want us to see it. Price went from the low, took out this high, and gave us something like this before what? Before coming down. So obviously this is where our break is, and this is what the protected low are not here. Alright? So when we're looking at this, price took out what? The range high here, and then price closed inside. Dealing what? Dealing the final blow here. Now, what does that signify? That's what it signifies what on Thursday, I believe, we caught a very massive sell here on Thursday, both on the scalps, the swing, and everything. So after this, we can see another one here that price has created, which is another sentiment or another range. Price created with this high, sorry, this low, with what? With this as the high. So as long as price hasn't taken out here or here, the range is still of value. So either way, we got the sell here as well again. And from here, we took out what? This low. Now taking out this low, you can see everything. So Majorly, what I'm talking about is the ranges and the narratives. Narratives and ranges, they are the most simplest things that I believe that everybody can understand. From narrative, once you've had your narrative, how did the candle close? Where exactly is the price right now? What sentiment is price giving? Then you look for your ranges, your value low, your value high, and then you look for demands. When it's uptrend, you look for supply when it's downtrend. Just very simple, complex things. They are not really complex, just very simple things. If we go down to 30 minutes time frame, let's just look for how we follow down on everything, right? Here I think I entered based on this block here. This was where the 10 a.m. candle opened, I believe. Yeah, it was where the 10 a.m. candle opened. So this was where I just placed the order, opening from here directly, and placed the stop below there. And majorly I left the trade with 2 hour, but our usual aim is like 4. But I just left with 2 hour. Based on that was what market gave me at that point. Now continuing, I believe I didn't really take any other trade until Thursday. I didn't really take any other trade until Thursday. And on Thursday, that was when we had this first sale. Now you can see that price broke through this low here, right? And that's what made my supply to be valid right here. Because this was the supply I used for the trade I took on Thursday. I'll show the Friday's on as well. But I entered from here, placing my stops above here, and then my target was here. It was like a quick 5 hour. Yeah, I believe a quick 5 hour. Then aside from that, we had on Friday on the Friday short. It was just very similar something. I went down to the 15-minute time frame to see everything a bit clearer. And when I looked at everything, I saw that this supply here hasn't been properly mitigated. So I just ended up choosing that one or using it right now, placing my entry from here, and then targeting this. So yeah, this was basically what I did. I believe it was like a 1 to 7, 1 to 5. I believe that this trade went on. So this was like the two major trades that occurred from last week, and these two major trades we capitalized on into passing prop accounts and also withdrawing massively from last week. So everything went well. Everything went well. Just three major trades we took last week, and inside these three major trades we eat a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Either way, this is where I'm going to end for this recap. Yeah, I know it's a very short video. It's just something very short for this week because I'm not too feeling fine. Thereabouts. The next recap will be dropped on Saturday by grace of God. So see you guys later. Catch you on the next one.